Decision by Bob Proctor. There is a single mental move you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter. And it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this magic mental activity, and it is called decision. Decisions, or the lack of them, are responsible for the breaking or making of many careers. Individuals who have become very proficient at making decisions without being influenced by the opinions of others are the same people whose annual incomes fall into the 6- and 7-figure category. However, it's not just your income that is affected by decisions. Your whole life is dominated by this power. The health of your mind and body, the well-being of your family, your social life, the type of relationships you develop, all are dependent upon your ability to make sound decisions. You would think anything as important as decision making, when it has such far-reaching power, would be taught in every school, but it is not. To compound the problem, not only is decision-making missing from the curriculum of our educational institutions, up till recently, it's also been absent from most of the corporate training and human resources programs available. So, how is a person expected to develop this mental ability? Quite simply, you must do it on your own. However, it's important to understand that it's not difficult to learn how to make wise decisions. Armed with the proper information, and by subjecting yourself to certain disciplines, you can become a very effective decision maker. You can virtually eliminate conflict and confusion in your life by becoming proficient at making decisions. Decision making brings order to your mind, and of course, this order is then reflected in your objective world, your results. The person who fails to develop their ability to make decisions is doomed, because indecision sets up internal conflicts that can, without warning, escalate into all-out mental and emotional wars. Psychiatrists have a name to describe these internal wars. It is ambivalence. The Oxford Dictionary tells us that ambivalence is the coexistence of one person of opposite feelings towards the same objective. You do not require a doctorate degree in psychiatry to understand that you're going to have difficulty in your life by permitting your mind to remain in an ambivalent state for any period of time. The person who does permit it to exist will become very despondent and virtually incapable of any type of productive activity. It is obvious that anyone who finds themselves in such a mental state is not living. At best, they are merely existing. A decision or a series of decisions would change everything. A very basic law of the universe is create or disintegrate. Indecision causes disintegration. How often have you heard a person say, "I don't know what to do"? How often have you heard yourself say, "What should I do"? Think about some of the indecisive feelings you and virtually everyone on this planet experience from time to time. Love them, leave them, quit, stay, do it, don't do it, buy it, don't buy it, say it, don't say it, tell them, don't tell them. Everyone on occasion has experienced these feelings of ambivalence. If it happens to you frequently, decide right now to stop it. The cause of ambivalence is indecision, but we must keep in mind that the truth is not always in the appearance of things. Indecision is a cause of ambivalence. However, it is a secondary cause. It is not the primary cause. It is clear from decades of studying the behaviour of people who have become very proficient at making decisions that they all have one thing in common. They have a very strong self-image, a high degree of self-esteem. They may be as different as night is to day in numerous of other respects, but they certainly possess confidence. Low self-esteem or a lack of confidence is the real culprit here. Decision makers are not afraid of making an error. If and when they make an error in their decision or fail at something, they have the ability to shrug it off. They learn from the experience that they will never submit to the failure. Every decision maker was either fortunate enough to have been raised in an environment where decision making was a part of their upbringing, or they developed the ability themselves at a later date. They are aware of something that everyone who hopes to live a full life must understand. Decision making is something you cannot avoid. This is the cardinal principle of decision making. Decide right where you are with whatever you've got. This is precisely why most people never master this important aspect of life. They permit their resources to dictate if and when a decision will or can be made. When John Kennedy asked Wernher von Braun what it would take to build a rocket that would carry a man to the moon and return him safely to Earth, his answer was simple and direct: the will to do it. President Kennedy never asked if it was possible. He never asked if they could afford it, or any one of 1,000 other questions, all of which would have, at the time, been valid questions. President Kennedy made a decision. He decided we would put a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth before the end of the decade. The fact that it had never been done before in all of the hundreds of thousands of years of human history was not even a consideration. He decided where he was with what he had. The objective was accomplished in his mind the second he made the decision. It was only a matter of time, which is governed by natural law, before the goal was manifested in form of the whole world to see. Once you make the decision, you will find all the people, resources, and ideas you need every time. If that is the only benefit you receive from this particular message on decision making, burn it into your mind. It will change your life. Whether you want it or not is only consideration. Whatever you need to achieve your goal, you will attract. There are any number of people who will say it is absurd. You can't just decide to do something if you do not have the necessary resources. And that's fine if that is the way they choose to think. We see that as a very limiting way of thinking. In truth, it probably is not thinking at all. It is very likely an opinion being expressed that was inherited from an older member of their family who did not think either. Thinking is very important. Decision makers are great thinkers. Do you ever give much consideration to your thoughts, how they affect the various aspects of your life? Although this should be one of our most serious considerations, for many people it is not. There is a very small select few who make an attempt to control or govern their thoughts. Anyone who has made a study of the great thinkers, the great decision makers, the achievers of history will know they very rarely agreed on anything when it came to the study of human life. However, there was one point on which they were complete and unanimous agreement, and that was we become what we think about. What do you think about? We all must realise that our thoughts ultimately take control of every decision we make. You are the sum total of your thoughts. By taking charge this very minute, you can guarantee yourself a good day. Refuse to let unhappy, negative people or circumstances affect you. The greatest stumbling block you will encounter when making important decisions in your life is circumstance. We let circumstance get us off the hook when we should be giving it everything we've got. More dreams are shattered and goals lost because of the circumstance than any other single factor. How often have you caught yourself saying, we would like to do or have this, but I can't because? Whatever follows because is the circumstance. Circumstances may cause a detour in your life, but you should never permit them to stop you from making important decisions. Napoleon said, circumstances, I make them. The next time you hear someone say they would like to vacation in Paris or purchase a particular automobile, but they can't because they have no money, explain that they don't need the money until they make a decision to go to Paris or purchase the car. When the decision is made, they will figure out a way to get the amount needed. They always do. Many misguided individuals try something once or twice, and if they do not hit the bullseye, they feel they are a failure. Failing does not make anyone a failure, but quitting most certainly does, and quitting is a decision. By following that form of reasoning, you would have to say, when you make a decision to quit, you make a decision to fail. Every day in America, you hear about a baseball player sign a contract which will pay them a few $1 million a year. You should try to keep in mind that the same player misses the ball more or often than he hits it when he steps up to the plate. Everyone remembers Babe Ruth for the 714 home runs he hit, and they rarely mention that he struck 1,330 times out. Charles F. Kettering said, "When you're inventing, you flunk 999 times and succeed once, you're in." That is true of just about any activity you can name, but the world will soon forget your failures in light of your achievements. Don't worry about failing. It will toughen you up and get you ready for your big win. Winning is a decision. Many years ago, Helen Keller was asked if she thought there was anything worse than being blind. She quickly replied that there was something much worse. She said, "The most pathetic person in the world is a person who has their sight but no vision." She was so right. At 91, J.C. Penney was asked how his eyesight was. He replied that his sight was failing, but his vision had never been better. That is really great, isn't it? When a person has no vision of a better way of life, they automatically shut themselves in a prison. They limit themselves to a life without hope. This frequently happens when a person has seriously tried on a number of occasions to win, only to meet with failure time after time. Repeated failures can damage a person's self-image and cause them to lose sight of their potential. They therefore make a decision to give up and resign themselves to their fate. Take the first step in predicting your own prosperous future. Build a mental picture of exactly how you would like to live. Make a firm decision to hold on to that vision, and positive ways will improve everything. Will begin to flow into your mind. Many people get a beautiful vision of how they would like to live, but because they cannot see how they're going to make it all happen, they let the vision go. If they knew how they were going to get it or do it, they would have a plan, not a vision. There is no inspiration in a plan, but there sure is in a vision. When you get the vision, freeze frame it with all a decision and don't worry about how you will do it or where the resources will come from. Charge your decision with enthusiasm. That is important. Refuse to worry about how it will happen. Advanced decision making. We make advanced bookings when we fly somewhere. That is quite common. We make advanced reservations to eliminate any confusion or problems when the time arrives for the journey. We do the same with renting a car for the same reason. Think of the problems you will eliminate by making many of the decisions you must make well in advance. Here's an excellent example. Take a person that is on a diet to release weight. Their decisions are made in advance. If they're offered a big slice of chocolate cake, they don't have to say, "Gee, that looks good, I wonder if I should." The decision is made in advance and, when well tempered with discipline, will lead to desired results. Do not participate in discussions of why something cannot be done. The only compensation you will ever receive for participating in or giving energy to that type of discussion is something you do not want. It is amazing to see the number of seemingly intelligent people who persist in dragging you into these negative brainstorming sessions. In one breath, these people tell you they seriously want to accomplish a particular objective, and in the next breath, they begin talking about why they can't. Think of how much more of life they would enjoy by making a decision that they will no longer participate in that type of negative energy. The humanistic psychologist Dr. Abraham Maslow, who devoted his life to studying self-actualized people, stated very clearly that we should follow our inner guide and not be swayed by the opinion of others or outside circumstances. Maslow's research showed that his decision makers in life had a number of things in common. Most importantly, they did work they felt was worthwhile and important. They found work a pleasure, and there was little distinction between work and play. Dr. Maslow said that to be self-actualized, you must not only be doing work you consider to be important, you must do it well and enjoy it. Dr. Maslow recorded that these superior performers had values, those qualities in their personalities they considered to be worthwhile and important. Their values were not imposed by society, parents, or other people in their lives. They'd made their own decisions. Like their work, they chose and developed their values themselves. Your life is important, and at its best, life is short. You have the potential to do anything you choose and to do it well. But you must make decisions, and when the time for a decision arrives, you must make your decision where you are with what you've got. Let us leave you with the words of two great decision makers, William James and Thomas Edison. William James suggests that compared to what we ought to be, we are making use of only a small part of our physical and mental resources. Stating this concept broadly, the human individual thus lives far within his limits. He possesses powers of various sorts which he habitually fails to use. 3 years later, Thomas Edison said, if we all did the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. By making a simple decision, the greatest minds of the past are available to you. You can literally learn how to turn your wildest dreams into a reality. Put this valuable information to use and recognize the greatness which exists within you. You have limitless resources of potential and ability waiting to be developed. Start today. There's never any time better than the present. Be all that you are capable of being. Decide what you want. Decide what you're prepared to give up to get it. Set your mind on it. Get on with the work. H.L. Hunt. Go as far as you can see. When you get there, you will see how you can go further. Thomas Clara.